Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to some more World of Warships, and today we're looking at the Tier 9 French destroyer, the Mogador, and yeah, I really do like this ship. It's a lot of fun. As any French destroyers, obviously its main focus is on speed. It's very fast with speed flag, getting up to 45.8 knots. I am joined with Ski and Wheeze. I probably should mention that. They're in the Missouri into the Georgia, and it's a mostly Tier 9 match. Actually, it's all Tier 9, which is nice. Makes everyone on equal footing. So the Mogador, what's obviously different is, one, its turrets are set up to dual instead of single, like the Fantastique, and you actually have 8 of them. They have a 6-second reload time. They're a little bit slow, but they are 139 millimeter, so they hit pretty hard, and your armor piercing is no slouch. Definitely want to be using that whenever possible. Now, we are playing on standard battle, and the issue, I guess, with the Mogador, even with Concealment Expert on the captain and the ship, your DTEC is 7.1 kilometers. Not fantastic. I mean, it obviously is going to get detected by any other destroyers besides, obviously, the Russian destroyer line. But that's, I guess, that's the main issue. But it's pretty fun. It hits pretty hard. Its torpedoes, you actually have 2 different setups. You have 2 torpedo tubes per side. The front one is 3 torpedoes, and the back one is 2 torpedoes. So they do have an 8-kilometer range, and they're still very fast, just like the previous Fantastique. But they're not obviously your main focus. They are very beneficial, and look at that. Look at this Mogador being extremely ballsy, pushing in against this Kitakaze. Lo and behold, obviously, I am right there next to him, opening up. And this is the issue. If you're caught in this position, your only defense is speed. And even then, it's not the best thing. This Mogador is gonna get focused down relatively quickly, because he does have a Kitakaze. He does go undetected. Does look like he's obviously running 7.1. He wisely decided not to open up. Not a bad idea. But now he does open up, and we should hopefully at least possibly get him at least low on health. Now, the interesting setup with its turrets is the 1, 2, and 3rd turret has really good firing angles. So you can angle your ship fairly well, but if you want all 4 guns available, you do have to show a lot more broadside. But it's really not that big of a deal for the Mogador. I am running the speed boost upgrade on the Mogador, and so your speed boost lasts over about 4 minutes, which is a lot of fun. Now, you did see that we were being kind of focused on quite a bit. We had about 5 targets, or 5 enemy players targeting us. As long as you keep your distance, it's really not that big of a deal. Obviously, you want to move around just to throw off their aim a little bit, because the long distance, it's very hard to hit a fast-moving ship, obviously. So right now we're kind of playing it a little passive. We're a support destroyer. That's the thing with the French destroyers. They're very much a support destroyer. If they get caught in a bad position, they're not able to really get out of it. Once again, their only defense is speed. But any good captain knows if you're able to aim, you're probably gonna hit the Mogador. Do open up on the Yugamo just to help this Kitakaze out. Honestly, this Kitakaze probably could get by without my help. It is a Kitakaze. But if you can get rid of the Yugamo, that is going to be so much more beneficial. Because look at that, 243, there we go. Finally goes down. And now we can actually kind of push up. Now, the enemy team has actually lost 2 of their destroyers at the moment. They still have their very low health Mogador and the Friesland, which, honestly, Friesland is a good anti-DD destroyer. Actually, it's almost good anti-everything. Obviously, it doesn't have torpedoes, but it has those very fast firing guns. So they're quite devastating against destroyers. Now, once again, Mogador, like any French destroyers, unfortunately, I don't have an example of it shooting down airplanes. Its AA is kind of middle of the road. Definitely CVs are still your main issue at the moment. So you do have to be careful whenever there is a CV. Now I am pushing in towards this Musashi, and that's the really nice thing. If you need to reposition, this ship can do it. I am going to try to at least get some torps off. They are 8 kilometers, so that does mean I have to get within 900 meters of my detect. And there we are detected by the enemy Mogador. He's so low in health. Doesn't even matter if he shoots, because he does go down. I'm going to go ahead and drop torpedoes. Once again, pulling back because it's frivolous to actually push in against this force. We did get hit by, I believe, the Iowa and the Musashi, which I believe are divvied up with that Mogador. But we are going to obviously pull back, get a little bit of distance, and just be a pain. Probably this tier is where I would almost say you're definitely a lot better suited at shooting at battleships. As you can see, there's actually quite a few battleships in this battle. Do get a fire on this Iowa, and the fire chance on the Mogador is pretty decent, 10.5% fire chance. So very, very nice, especially once you get the captain, the special captain, special ability activated, your fire chance goes up that much more. So I'm talking a lot about what I like about the ship. I mean, it's a fun ship. It's a very niche ship. That's probably what a lot of people need to focus on. It's not so much as a destroyer as it's a very light cruiser. It can do some destroyer capabilities, but obviously it doesn't have the same stealth as many of the other destroyers. Things I don't like about the Mogador, it's really hard to say because I really do like the ship. It's been a lot of fun ever since I got the Mogador. Haven't had that many issues with it, especially if you take your time to grind up through the French destroyer, so going through Les Fantastiques, and getting accustomed to how the ship plays. But obviously the Mogador is the step up. It's just, its guns are probably why I love it so much. It's 139. They have a semi-slow reload for destroyers, but fast for light cruiser standards. So it's kind of a trade-off, I guess you could say. Obviously, against CVs is your biggest issue. Torpedoes can be viable. Don't forget that your torpedoes are actually viable. They're very fast, they hit hard, but obviously you have to be very, very close. And that's something you do have to learn, is how close you can get to a enemy ship, such as this Lion, and be able to pull away without being detected. I have roughly estimated it's about a kilometer before you really need to start turning and kind of pulling away. But obviously, if there is any enemy destroyers nearby, they are going to detect you before you get enraged. So unfortunately for us, our torpedoes are not going to land. Obviously, that's the major downside of the Mogadors. The torpedoes don't have a very long range. So had they had about 500 more meters, they probably would have slammed into the Lion and done pretty sizable chunk of damage. Now, the enemy team at the moment is very much boxed in. They're surrounded by our Z-46 Georgia and actually 2 Georgias up north, with the rest of our forces pushing up from the south. So they're actually very boxed in. This Fletcher actually is a Fletcher technically. There is a Z-46 in this battle. It's just not up there. Unfortunately, obviously, the Fletcher is dealing with a Seattle and goes down. And that poor Iowa actually lost a turret. I just now realized that. It's actually missing its second turret. So that's actually very amusing there. So, I mean, honestly, it's a lot of fun. I almost am tempted just to keep the ship. Now, the ship is not fully upgraded, as probably a few of you can tell by its health. It's still stock. The XP required to upgrade the hull is 55,000. So it is a little expensive. There aren't a lot of upgrades for the Mogador. It is only B-hull and then the extended range, which honestly probably is not a bad idea, having that extended range, just so you have a little bit of a buffer, especially shooting at long range targets. The velocity on the shells feel a little bit better, and actually here's a good example of me using my AP. Doing really decent damage against this Iowa's broadside. So once again, your AP's no slouch. Now I am aiming more towards the superstructure. They are 139 millimeters, so they are going to struggle with a little bit of a battleship's thicker broadside. So obviously you got to be a little bit careful when dealing with that. Now, enemy team's actually kind of bringing it back. We just lost both our Georgias up north. So, I mean, they're doing a really good job kind of bringing this back. But we are in their cap. We are starting to cap them. They only have one destroyer left, which I believe is the Friesland. Yes, it is. The Friesland right there, who's about half health. And this is kind of a concern, I guess, right now, is we're kind of getting into a position where we're facing the enemy team one at a time, which is not a good decision. Because obviously you're going to get focused down. You're not able to angle against targets as much as you would like. So you do have to be extremely careful. Don't want to just charge in one at a time, because, yeah, we're unfortunately losing a few ships. Do get a fire on that Lion. And as you can see, we're currently being targeted by 3 ships. Once again, good idea to pull away. And look at this. This Friesland, just its volume capabilities is impressive. So I am pulling away. Obviously, the Friesland does a little bit worse at long range, but it does have just that volume of firepower just coming into play. Once again, using the AP, not a bad choice. HE, Lion, granted, does have that nice super heal. Extraordinarily low on health, unfortunately. He's just out of range. But once again, I will have to give props to the enemy team. They've managed to bring it back. They actually still have quite a few of their battleships. Majority of our forces are destroyers. But now we're starting to focus them down. If we can get rid of that Friesland, that's going to help immensely. And now we're going to just put pressure. I mean, this is the best thing you can do. At this point, it's in the enemy team's court. They need to make the decision, and obviously we have a Missouri, and the Friesland is just sitting in his smoke. And yeah, let's get rid of this Friesland as much as possible. I will have to say, the guns feel a lot better than the Fantastique. They feel at least easier to hit your target. Probably also helps having more shells. About 3 more shells than what it originally was. And look at that, 27 points of health. And I don't think we're going to get the kill. Oh, yes, we do. We get the kill. That is the Friesland dead. All that's left on the enemy team is a Musashi Iowa in Seattle. And once again, it's in the enemy team's court. They have to make a decision on what to do. And this is kind of how you want to play. You want them to be concerned. You want them to try to counteract what you're doing and then counter them, obviously. You want to be in a good position. Obviously, Wheeze is wisely using the cover of an island. Can be a little bit of a concern, but it's once again not a bad idea. We're actually capping. We still have a full health Musashi, so Musashi obviously can take a little bit of damage. It won't kill him, hopefully. At least maybe without the citadels. We'll see. But anyway, we're just gonna cap, and I really do like the Mogador. I'm just gushing about it, I guess, right now. It's fun. It is. It still has a good high skill ceiling, to say the very least. Because obviously, if you don't play it properly, you play it too aggressively, you're gonna have a bad time, and that's never good for anyone. And here, I'm actually having issues with my throttle. But anyway, we're just gonna focus down this Iowa. Obviously, the enemy team is wisely trying to focus us to reset the cap. But I think at this point, we're pretty much in control of this situation. We are... I mean, it's still very close. We're actually just barely ahead. We only have 2 ships ahead of them. And our Kitakaze, I believe, went down, but we still have our Z46. Our Z46 being a little ballsy here, does smoke up. Not a bad play for the Z46. High props to him. Granted, the Missouri is going to be obviously spotted, so whenever he fires. So yeah, Seattle pushing in. I mean, there's not really much the enemy team can do. They're running out of time. Seattle is just going to get focused down, and that is going to be a victory for us. So, not a bad battle. Just a quick look at the Mogador. Hopefully, you guys did enjoy it. Not impressive as far as damage, but quick look. Definitely shows a lot of the possibilities with the Mogador. Would have liked to have shown you a battle with a CV. Just so you can see and maybe understand. CVs are bad against French destroyers. Your only defense is, once again, speed. So anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zai Gen.